go. And we are in the money, I think. Okay, first of all, shout out to everybody that's already tuned in. If you don't know what you're tuned into, this is the Couch Chronicles where it ain't no fucking limits. It is a new season, so that means it is season 5. So when a new year comes, that's when we get a new season. The whole last year was season 4, obviously. Which means that you need to catch up. You might be behind. You might not. You might actually just now met me and be like, whoa, I never heard of this podcast before. Well, I've been streaming for a few years now, and I'm actually super excited to say that we are now on season 5. So welcome. Before we go any further, I do want to give a moment of silence for the ones who didn't make it here today. There are people that we know and that we don't know that didn't make it to 2026. So let's give this moment to them. Now, a lot of you celebrated, the first day of January being New Year's Eve. It's New Year's. I know I've heard a lot of people saying that. But to me, it's fake New Year's. New Year isn't until April to me. So happy, prosperous 2026 from the couch. Today is Autoimmune Disease Awareness. And for those of you who don't know, I actually suffer from lupus. And a little bit of backstory about, when I found out that I had lupus, I was actually locked up in prison. At the time, I had been on the yard for not even a year. It wasn't even a year that I was on the yard. And I was just feeling just the pain of, I thought it was just the pain of life. I thought it was just the pain of, just being in pain. And so I didn't think nothing of it. I didn't know where to look. I didn't know, any of my family history when it came to that. Because before I went to before I went to prison, I was in DHS custody. So I went to DHS custody at the age of 14. And I don't know if you guys, how you spoke to your family back then. But at the age of 14, I wasn't asking about, our family history, diseases and anything like that. I wasn't even thinking like that at the age of 14. So I didn't think to prepare myself as a kid to find out if anybody in my family had any type of diseases. I didn't even know about the disease, honestly. I didn't know nothing. Nobody taught me nothing. Anybody in my family that had it, nobody was rushing to say, hey, I got lupus, and trying to teach me about lupus. So I went to DHS custody. I was in pain, but I didn't know why I was in pain. Then I went to prison, and that pain intensified. And if you have an autoimmune disease, then you know that when you're unhappy, when you're, real angry, a lot of anxiety or frustrated or any of that, it heightens up your disease. Like it makes it stronger. It makes you feel worse, or you feel like, So going from DHS custody to prison kind of heightened what I was already experiencing, but I didn't know what I was experiencing. I knew I was experiencing something, but I didn't know exactly what. But, so going to prison just heightened everything and made everything worse and made everything just feel so much terribly worse. So in prison, it's not that easy to be seen by a doctor. It's not that easy to be heard, You could tell them, I don't know what's going on. My bones is hurting. I could barely move them. And they'll be like, okay, fill out a medical request. They don't tell you fill out a medical request. It's going to take 3 to 6 months, maybe even a year. They don't tell you that. All they tell you is just put in a sick request. So you put in a sick request thinking that, okay, boom, I'm in a lot of pain. They're going to probably try to do something that they can to help me. Because, I mean, why would you want somebody to live with this type of pain? And I didn't know what they could do, or I didn't know any of that. I just knew that my body was in pain. I didn't know what was going on. So 6 months later, it took 6 months for me to get into medical to see a doctor. 6 months later, medical called me up there to get some blood work done. Because, like I said, I didn't know what was going on. I just knew something was wrong with my body. So, I mean, they tested me. They ran tests. That was 2009. Mind you, I did 9 years. So all that time that I'm in prison, still waiting to hear back if something is wrong with me or not. See, nobody's telling me nothing. Nobody is saying, hey, we got your test results back. Nobody's saying none of that. They just carrying on as if nothing's wrong with me. And I'm carrying on as if nothing is wrong with me too, because I'm like, well, they didn't say anything. Obviously, if it's something wrong, they would make me aware, wouldn't they? Well, you would think that, because you would just think that. I mean, if it's somebody in a doctor's position, wouldn't you think that they legally would have to tell you about something that is wrong with you? Yeah, it doesn't work like that in prison. So anytime I would come up there, still experiencing Grand Rising Denise, and still experiencing, any type of anything. Like, I would get like bruises and it looked like I had a ringworm in my hair because my hair was falling out from lupus. And, they told me it was a ringworm. And at the time, I didn't know what a ringworm was. Well, I knew what a ringworm was, but I didn't understand why they would say ringworm if there wasn't like a playground, park, sand around. Because when I was a child, one of my friends got a ringworm, but it was because she was playing in the sand. So I was trying to figure out, like, why would y'all say a ringworm? Instead of trying to figure out, okay, what's actually wrong with her? It's got to be something wrong with her. She's got to be onto something. So anytime I would come in with like my hair missing, they'll be like, oh, she got a ringworm. They'll treat me for a ringworm. And I don't know if you guys know this, but part of the treatment that they give you is a steroid. And that same steroid is also used for lupus flares. Okay. So they treated me for the ringworm. And then I was getting bruises down the back of my leg. I'm talking about my legs was black, purple, pink, like every color you could think of. And so I'm like, hey, I don't know what's going on with my body, but I filled out a medical request and told you guys that, my bones and everything is hurting. And now I'm getting these bruises and they're like, oh, your girlfriend's just beating you up. I'm like, my girlfriend's beating me up. Wait a minute. I know it's got to be something in here like, what you mean my girlfriend's beating me up? Let's make that make sense. So my girlfriend, instead of punching me in my fucking face and knocking me the fuck out, she's punching me in the back of my legs, causing random bruises down my whole leg. By that time, I'm just like, they don't want to help me. They don't want me to be okay. And the stress of finding out that I have lupus, being in prison, going from DHS custody to prison, it put a lot on me. I've never had a seizure before until I went to prison. And now I have seizures, not like the ones that I did in prison, but I'll be stuck like this for like 10, 30 seconds maybe. And to the point where my wife has to retell me everything that I just missed. So, not that I don't experience seizures anymore. I just don't experience it the way I did in prison. Or the way they said that I was experiencing in prison, because I don't really remember that either. I just remember whenever I came to. So once I started, you said medical ain't really medical in prison. Exactly, Denise. So once I started, being seen about seizures, this is them, seizures. Because you don't have a history of seizures. Why are you having seizures? You must be doing drugs. This is what they're thinking. So now they're trying to make it like I'm on drugs. I'm trying to do drugs. Instead of still actually trying to figure out what is wrong with me and being just real. Mind you, 2009 is when they ran my blood work. Now we're in 2010. And I'm still experiencing this. I'm still going to medical. Excuse me. Now they have labeled me in my charts as a liar. Oh, she's having fake seizures. Watch her. She doesn't want to take seizure medications, so seizures are fake. I'm like, and to a lot of people, they's like, Janelle, that's dumb. If you really having seizures, why the fuck would you take your seizure medicine and da-da-da-da-da-da? Because why the fuck would I take seizure medicine if you guys haven't gotten down to the bottom of the reason why I'm having seizures? I don't want to take nothing fucking else. I'm sorry that I don't want to just jump and take a medication. Sorry. But I couldn't figure it out. I was just like, why are y'all trying to make me take seizure medicine instead of trying to figure out like what's really truly wrong with me? Like, I'm scared. Y'all trying to make me like I'm a liar, and I'm telling you, I'm literally fucking scared. I don't know why I'm having seizures. I've never had it before, and they don't run in my family. So instead of making me like easing my pain or easing my fear, they just brushed me off and kept telling me that I was being beat up by my girl. Okay, 2011 rolls around. Now it's almost hard to walk. Now my feet are getting so bad that I could barely step down. So I'm going to medical again. I'm filling out medical requests. Now this time they send me my request back that says stop filling out medical request. By this time, exactly, the medication is bullshit. But I wasn't even being medicated at the time. So now by this time, I'm still trying to figure out why are they not telling me if a test result came back and if I'm good or not. Like, my feet, my everything, my body, I don't feel good. And I don't know how to explain how I feel because y'all haven't helped me understand what I'm feeling. So that was 2011 when my feet started getting bad. By the end of 2014, they finally told me, well, you have a positive ANA. I said, a positive ANA? What's that? Well, a positive ANA is basically lupus. So I'm like, okay, well, when was y'all going to tell me this? Oh, well, with the way the system is and we tried to get you in and we tried to, no, you did not. There was a young lady that actually found out that she had lupus, and within a month of her finding out, she died on the yard. So you mean to tell me that same disease that she has, you're telling me that I have that and you guys haven't been treating me? And it wasn't even the original facility that did the blood work that told me. They ended up shipping me off to a lower security, which I wasn't supposed to be there. But they ended up shipping me there. And once I got there, I kept telling them, hey, I'm in pain. Something's going on. They didn't find out. Can you please? I said, well, since I'm going to be at this facility that I know I'm not supposed to be at, I should be at least able to get some help. So I'm going to ask them if, because in the halfway house, you have to go to like an outside facility to get help. So I was like, hey, can I set an appointment? I know y'all don't let people go off of facility, but unless it's to the doctor. I was like, I'm having like severe pain everywhere and I don't know what's going on. I've been trying to look at Mabel Bassett, but they didn't give me the help that I need. So is there a way that I could fill out a medical request? They was like, well, you haven't been here long enough. You got to wait at least a week, but fill out the medical request. I filled out the medical request, and they got me in, even though they said I haven't been there long enough. When I finally went to the doctor, which was in Tulsa, it was called Morton's Clinic. And by this time, I had the big bald spot, but it was on this side. And at first they were telling me again, it's a ringworm. And I was like, no, I haven't done anything except moved facilities. It's no way that I could have a ringworm in my hair from a prison facility. So let's run this again. So instead of him just saying, no, it is a ringworm, he was like, you know what, you could be right. That was the first time to me in medical history, for me, that a doctor was like, oh, you could be right. Because I've been called a liar. I've been dismissed. I have been treated as if I'm nothing just by the facility I was in. And so finally, this man does all my blood work all over again. He doesn't even reach out to Mabel Bassett to get my medical work. He just does his own medical work and gets all my blood taken. Maybe about 16, 17 tubes of blood. So about a week later, I get a phone call, and they didn't call me. They called the facility, and they tell them that they need to bring me back up there. Now, mind you, I still don't know what's going on. This is 2014. This is when I'm about to find out. And Mabel Bassett first took my blood work in 2009 to figure out what was wrong with me. Mind you, they didn't tell me nothing. They just told me that nothing was wrong with me, that I was getting beat up. So the new facility that I went to, they called me in. I went to the doctor, and when I sit down, he's like, so I'm like, what? Like, he's like, you was right. It's something wrong. And I was like, okay, like what? He's like, well, you have a positive ANA. And if anybody knows anything about an ANA, it's certain parts of an ANA, like the numbers, which will basically tell you how high it is in your body. Basically, that's like the probability of it severely being lupus. But it doesn't tell you exactly which one. You would have to like do further blood work for that. So he tells me, he asked me, do you know, of anyone that has lupus? And at the time, I didn't know what lupus was. I didn't know if anybody in my family had it. I didn't know anything. I heard the word, and now I want to know about it. I'm like, well, can you tell me about it? I'm like, is there a cure? And he's like, well, no, there's no cure for it. And it's several ways that it can affect you. I notice now, instead of saying that that's a ringworm in your hair, that could be a lupus flare. I was like, lupus can pull my hair out? Like, I didn't know. Like, I was literally new to this. I'm getting to know everything, like y'all, well, like how y'all are. If you just now coming in and you've never heard anything about lupus, I'm like it's new to me. I'm like what? Like, how did I get it? Did somebody give me this? Is this a sexual disease? Like, I didn't know anything. I thought that it can be transmitted through sex. I didn't know. So I'm thinking, damn, somebody gave me this, not realizing that it's hereditary. My father gave it to me. So I'm still like in my head. I'm just now finding out that I have lupus. They took my test at Mabel Bassett Correctional Center in 2009 to find out what was wrong with me. I didn't find out to the end of 2014 at a halfway house facility in Tulsa. All that time I was suffering, and y'all kept telling me that nothing was wrong with me. Now, let me pause real quick, because some of you guys might not understand this part, but it wasn't even the most traumatic part about finding out that I have lupus years later. The most traumatic part was telling me that nothing was fucking wrong with me, was making me believe that I was actually okay when I really fucking wasn't. Was telling me to my face that I'm a liar, putting it in my charts that I'm a liar. That is what really fucked me up. Because I'm like I couldn't stop crying. And everybody was like, well, girl, it's not the end of it's not the end of the world that you have lupus. I'm like, y'all are trying to just make it like it's not the end of the world. Well, first of all, it's a disease with no fucking cure. Let's put that out there. And second of all, I've been told for years that I was a liar, that nothing was wrong with me. So I was made to believe that I was irrelevant. And it really fucked me up mentally. That fucked me up the most. Because I'm like, what did I do, for y'all to sit up in my face and fucking lie to me for years? What did I do for you to keep my own test results about my own health? What did I do for you to keep that away from me? I was hurting. I still hurt. But I didn't understand why I hurted. And y'all wasn't trying to help me understand. You was just trying to get me the fuck up out of the office. So he immediately starts me on a bunch of different medications that they use for lupus. And mind you, I still didn't know exactly what lupus was. But at the time, I didn't want to be in pain anymore. And this was a crazy part of my life because not only was I going through the fact that I just found out that I have lupus, but I was also going through the fact that I was lied to, that I was treated as if I was the liar, that I was pushed to the side, and they even put it in my chart and called me a liar when I made it to the facility. Like, this is the type of stuff that they'll be saying, oh yeah, she's a liar. She lies about her medical history, da-da-da-da-da-da. So when my doctor prescribed me baclofen, which I almost threw up because I hate the word now. He prescribed me baclofen, Narcos, and steroids. The steroids was I can't think of the name. It's literally on the tip of my tongue. Anyways, he prescribed me all this medication, and I didn't know anything about baclofen. I didn't realize how strong it was or how long it takes to kick in or any of that. I just knew that I was in pain, and he said that if you feel in pain, you could take one of these. He said take 1 or 2, maybe even 3. But I took it overboard because I didn't think that I was feeling it. Because I was in so much pain, I was just like, I don't feel this. Like, I need, another pill. By the time, I took my first medication at 3 p.m. By the time 5 p.m. came, I took 60 pills and I was in the bathroom overdosing. I had no clue. If it wasn't for my friend Tammy Ontiveros, who is an amazing woman, if it wasn't for her saving my life, I probably would have died in that bathroom from an overdose. Because in the midst of, that's why I say it was a crazy part of my life, because, I'm in the middle of literally dying. I'm throwing up all over myself. And I was actually, and people don't believe that this happened, but no, I'm not saying that they don't believe that it happened to me. I'm saying they don't believe that this does happen in prison. But a woman was actually raping me at the time that I was overdosing, throwing up all over myself. She didn't give a fuck. This disgusting bitch had throw up all over her, and she was still eating my pussy when my best friend walked in and whooped her fucking ass. And I know this because this is what was told to me. I don't really remember. I kind of vaguely remember, kind of trying to push her off of me. But I don't really remember strength. I didn't have any strength. I literally was weak. I didn't even know I was overdosing. I didn't know I was fucking... I'll never forget her. If she was to ever come around, I would hurt her. literally. Like, I never forgot that. It was fucking crazy. I was just like, how can you do that to someone? I was literally in a vulnerable moment in my entire life. Like, of course I was in prison, but I literally was going through it, you know, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Whew. Oh, I didn't know that was going to make me cry. I was going through it, though. You know, still trying to understand what was going on with my life, with me, with my body. And so, my friend, she shoves this, at the time I didn't know what it was, but it was like a liquid, like, tar. If you've ever had an overdose, then you know what I mean. Well, at the halfway house that I was in, this is the type of stuff that they kept, including like Narcan and shit, because a lot of people will overdose and be doing a lot of drugs, and instead of getting caught by the prison, they would rather another inmate of their, like, say you was my best friend and you was a meth head. No, for real, because my best friend was a meth head. I would literally keep her charcoal in my locker just in case she overdosed or if she did anything. I would keep like Narcan, shit like that. So people would keep these type of things in a halfway house just in case somebody was having a bad trip or something, overdose and whatever. So I just remember hours later I woke up. I mean, when I tell y'all my best friend cleaned me up, I'm talking about throw up. She cleaned me the fuck up. Throw up was everywhere. She cleaned the bathroom up, told me everything that happened. She even recorded a little bit of the girl so she can get her in trouble just in case she didn't get up. And she showed it to me. You know, it looked disgusting. So after that moment happened, I just was like, you know, I can't take this many pills anymore. I can't do this anymore. Like, I need to know exactly what's wrong with my body. And I need somebody to help me understand. And these pills can't. And then I started doing my research. Like, what are these pills doing? Like, is this pill helping me get rid of lupus, or, I mean, what is it doing? Is it gonna manage the pain? Because I still felt the pain. I mean, that's why I took so many pills, because I didn't realize how much pain I was still in and how this is not affecting me or touching even the pain at all. It's just killing me. So I never took a baclofen again after that. I was just dealing with the pain. I didn't even want to take my narcos anymore. I just didn't want to be in pain. And I was like, well, if taking pills isn't going to help me get rid of lupus, then I need to find some other alternatives. Like, I need to do some things to change my life around. If you guys don't know, autoimmune disease, it's really meant for your good cells to fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, your system is meant to fight infection. But lupus mistakenly thinks that you are the infection. That everything about your life is the infection. And it's not. Like, anybody that has dermals, this is another reason why I started my dermal savior company, to save dermals, because anything that's foreign into our body is already fighting itself. So it's going to think that everything is a foreign object. I don't give a fuck if it's a piercing, a tattoo. My tattoos whelp up like they just was done because of lupus. Because lupus randomly can attack any part of your body whenever. Anytime. It doesn't matter what part of your body. It could be your skin. It could be your hair. Excuse me. It could be your hair. It could be your nails. It could be your teeth, your organs. It can be every single piece of your body. And lupus, anyone that has any type of autoimmune disease, you don't realize that we are ticking time bombs. We literally can die at any moment. And it doesn't have to give us a warning. It can literally just come out of nowhere. So, you know, if you know anybody that has an autoimmune disease, hug them even tighter. We need all the love we can get. And I'm not saying that a lot of us aren't bitches, because we are. Because I don't know if you know how to deal with pain 24/7, 32/6 and still be okay. Sometimes you get irritable, more irritable than you would usually. You said, I'm going to screenshot that, because a lot of people always gives me different. Thank you. I'm going to try that. Thank you for that. I just screenshotted it and I'm going to try it out. But I try different things. One of the main things that helped me with lupus, love you, prosperous 2026. One of the main things that helped me with lupus, for those that don't know, I don't take any medication for it. I don't take any steroids or anything anymore for it. Am I still in pain every day? Yeah, of course. But I've traded out, thank you, I've traded out my original diet that I was on to veganism. And I have been completely plant-based for over 6 years, actually 7 years now. And when I say it tremendously changed my life, I do want to tell you guys that you have to stay away from certain foods when it comes to any type of autoimmune disease, especially lupus. There are a lot of fruits and vegetables that we are not allowed to eat, but we still eat them because it's easier to get, it's convenient, and sometimes it's cheaper. Let's just be real. You said that's awesome. The holistic way is the best way. Oh, I didn't even tell you guys. I traded medication for magic mushrooms. I'll get into that in just a second. So, when you have an autoimmune disease, it's best to stay away from any dairy product. Dairy products are a no. Now, I didn't know that part. I didn't know like the actual food part before I went vegan. I went vegan for a total different reason, because somebody told me that they get more energy. And I was like, wait a minute. I want more energy. Like, I don't want to do drugs. I want to be up and awake as if I am high on drugs like everybody else is, but I want to be sober. I want to be completely sober doing that. And he was like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter what time, I got to go to work or what time I go to sleep. Okay, yeah. Did I ask you for some money? What happened? Just DM me. So he was just like, it keeps me up. And I was just like, well, you know what? I work long hours. And on top of that, I work in a studio when I get back. And if I want to record my music, I'm not going to be able to record because the studio is going to be occupied until like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And then, okay. And then now I got to get back to work at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I could take a nap. But if I turn vegan, I could have more energy. I was like, well, let me just try it. He's like, yeah, try it out for a week. Mind you, I went from eating medium rare steak with extra blood on the side to being completely vegan. So I was like, all right, I'm going to try it tomorrow. He's like, tomorrow? You just going to try it tomorrow? I was like, yeah, I'm going to try it tomorrow, and then I'm going to see if I can stick with it. So I went vegan overnight, and I never turned back. That was 7 years ago. It changed my life tremendously. And thank you. I had no idea that it was going to help me with my lupus. At the time, I didn't know. But I know now. And I'm very, very thankful that I went vegan for other reasons, not realizing that it was going to help me with my veganism. With my lupus as well. So, staying away from gluten. So, gluten is in a lot of stuff. And I know gluten-free stuff is actually kind of disgusting. I'm not going to lie. I don't really like gluten-free things. I like my gluten. I like my pancakes with gluten. Okay? I really do. And so it gets kind of hard to kind of stay away from the things that you're so used to or that you love or that fills you up the most. Because don't you want to eat one time and be filled instead of keep eating a bunch of different stuff that doesn't really do anything for you? So yeah. Refined sugars. That is completely hard. And not just for me, but for everybody, because everything has refined sugars. Now, the good thing about it is I've changed my refined sugars to coconut sugar. Is it better? Yeah, better than refined sugar, but it's still sugar, and I still need to stay away from it. The only thing this year that I do actually want to do different is I really want to stay away from sugar. I just do. For me. But those vegan chocolate chip cookies and the ice cream, delicious. Processed foods. Now, everybody thinks that when you are vegan, that you stay away from processed foods. No. A lot of the plant-based impossible anything is processed. If you do want to get away from that, do a complete vegetable and but the right vegetables that were no nightshade vegetables. Do the right vegetables and the right fruits to, eat and do that with. If you want to do like, I would say beans, but listen to this. Tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants were really not supposed to be eaten if you have any type of autoimmune disease. Also, eggs, nuts, seeds, alcohol, and coffee. Now, it's so much stuff that we're actually not supposed to eat. So what the fuck do we survive on? What do we survive on? That's why a lot of times when people have lupus, we have a lot of lupus flares because we don't want to stop eating potato chips. We don't want to stop eating French fries, especially whenever you don't want to eat a big meal and you just want a little bitty snack and you're like, you know what, I could just put some French fries in the air fryer with a little bit of barbecue sauce or some honey mustard or some this or some that, whatever you choose to dip your French fries in. Simple, right? Or, you know what, maybe I'll take a loaded baked potato. A loaded baked potato. You're not supposed to eat potatoes. You know what, maybe I'll just drink this sip of coffee. You're not supposed to drink coffee. Oh yeah, cheers to the New Year's. Oh, can't drink alcohol. It's like, oh my gosh, what are we? It's tough. It's really, really tough. Lupus is also hard to diagnose. There's no cure, like I mentioned before. And it's more common in people of color. So if you are a person of color, not saying that if you're Caucasian that you can't get lupus, because you can. Yes, you can. Especially if you have any type of native in you and you just don't know. Just saying, people of color tend to find themselves with lupus. And just like sickle cell, there's no cure. There's no cure for us. And it's funny how it's more common in people of color and there's no cure. Absolutely no cure. The top 5, forms of lupus are SLE lupus. MS is considered lupus. Type 1 diabetes is considered lupus. Vasculitis, and it's a one called giant cell. I've never really heard of that one. So, rheumatoid arthritis attacks your joints, the joint lining. So that's why we always be like, oh, my bones hurt, because it feels like it's your bones that's hurting, but it's your joint lining causing pain and swelling. Lupus, SLE, can affect your skin, your joints, your heart, your lungs, your kidney, and your brain. Type 1 diabetes, and it can attack the insulin producing cells in the pancreas. Psoriasis, it causes rapid skin cell buildup, leading to scales. Yeah, a lot of people didn't know MS is being part of it. That's why a lot of times when you have lupus, you should be tested for MS and all of the umbrella of it. everything that falls under it, like the names that I'm mentioning right now, like type 1 diabetes. They tested me for type 1 diabetes. That's when I found out that had something to do with lupus, because I was like, I didn't know. And MS, here we go again, which targets the brain and the spinal cord. So that's why a lot of times when people have lupus, you should be tested for MS, because our spinal cord actually gets attacked as well. Now, I had a spinal surgery where they had to go through my stomach and they had to go through my back. Now, the reasoning was not lupus, but because I have lupus, it didn't make it no better, if that makes sense. I was shopping in a grocery store out here in Oklahoma City, and an employee hit me with a forklift. Now, I was already in a lot of fucking pain. Now, on top of being in pain from lupus and then getting hit with that forklift, really changed my fucking life. So, you know, it's not something... I'll be real. This is a subject that needs to be talked about all the time. And this is the reason why I'm doing this every month now. The reason that I didn't want to talk about it, and anybody that has any type of autoimmune disease, then you would totally understand this. Having to explain every day that I'm hurting, or having to explain it all when I don't look like I'm hurting, or I look like I'm okay, or you just can't tell if I'm hurting or none of that. It gets annoying. It gets annoying to hear, you know. It gets annoying to keep talking about and not being understood. It gets annoying to not be around people that even want to know or want to understand what's going on. So it's like, why talk about it if nobody really fucking cares, except for people that suffer from it? And then nobody cares unless they know somebody that suffers from it, or then they start to suffer from it. Then now they care, and then now they want to hear, and then now this, and then now that, and it's just like... So it was just like, I didn't really want to talk. Like, I know what I'm dealing with, but there's other people that's out there right now that are dealing with it as well, and they still don't know what they're dealing with. And they still don't know what to do or how to treat it or how to manage. They don't know that it causes a deep depression. They don't know that. They just know that you got this smile on your face, and they think that you're being fake. And it's not that I'm being fake. I'm genuinely smiling, and I'm genuinely happy. But I'm hurting genuinely too. Can you be two genuines at the same time? Can you be genuinely in pain but genuinely happy? I mean, who wants to be sitting around all day crying and being miserable when there's a disease that's attacking you that wants you to be miserable and sad? Yep, smile to keep from crying, in a sense. Exactly. Like, I don't want to keep thinking like, oh, I'm in pain. I'm in pain. I'm in fucking pain. And, you know, contrary to what people believe, I don't really like taking pain medication. So, I just had a shoulder surgery. I still got the stitches in my shoulder. Guess what? I didn't take any of my pain medication because I don't want it. Sorry, I want to know what's going on with my body. I don't want a medication to hide other symptoms. I don't, because y'all not trying to figure it out. So I have to figure it out myself. And even if I'm not a doctor, I'm going to do my best to know when I'm coming into your doctor's office and telling you what to look for. Because a lot of times, if you don't tell them what to look for, if you don't stick to the plan on helping you, they're going to do whatever the fuck they want just to do this. Take your money, baby. They're going to take it. They're going to take it because they know that you want to be helped. And you're going to do everything that you can, no matter how much you got to pay. So, you know, I'm going to talk about this every month. I'm not ashamed. That's not why I didn't talk. It's not that I'm ashamed. I promise to God, I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed to have lupus. I have lupus. I just was tired of explaining to people who just didn't understand? Or you said there is a cure for lupus. Deborah, go ahead and send it to me in my inbox so I could do some research on it, because I've never heard of anyone saying that they were cured. Now, if you say anything about Dr. Sebi, y'all better go do some research on the products. It's been altered, but I've never heard anyone, nor have I ever witnessed, and I'm part of the Michigan Lupus Foundation. I've never heard anybody tell me they've been cured, but I would love to read up on it. Now, I heard of a new cure for sickle cell. You said you was diagnosed with MS. I'm so sorry. I would, if you are ever brave enough to share your story, please. I could pull anybody up at any time. I would love for you guys to share your story. Like I said, I'm not ashamed of it. I'm going to do this every month. This is now going to be a staple on the couch. We'll also be doing sickle cell talk. I just lost a friend from sickle cell, and before she passed away, she was going to do sickle cell talk on the couch with me to teach you guys about it. But luckily, she left a lot of beautiful words of wisdom on social media for me to go back and rewatch to keep teaching. So I definitely appreciate everybody for tuning in. This is not the last time. We're going to do this every month on the couch. Early mornings on the couch didn't used to be this intense, but hey, we do this every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday from 8 Central Time, and every Wednesday and Friday from 9:30 a.m. Central Time. You said I haven't had so many flares. I guess I've been... Oh, because you're pregnant? Wow, congratulations. You said I can contact my neighbor who has been cured by Dr. Vincent. Okay, please do. Please. Before I go, I do want to tell you guys, now I said earlier that I traded my lupus medication for magic mushrooms. Now, I want to say it was like around the time that I went vegan. This is the time that I had tried shrooms. Now, I was talking to this young lady, and she was just telling me, just the high of it. That's all I was concerned with at the time. I didn't know that it would help me with my lupus. Mind you, I said that my feet and stuff was hurting at the time when I was in prison, but whenever I got out, I was still in a lot of pain. Okay, so boom. So, she's telling me about the shrooms. I'm like, oh, I want to try. I want to try them. She was like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. I want to try. Oh, congratulations. So I was like, I want to try it. So she gives me a 3-5 and I eat it. About an hour later, I was walking perfectly fine. I wasn't like, I was like, what? So I kept like standing on my tippy toes trying to see if this was real. So I'm like moving my feet around and going like this with it. I'm like, wait a minute. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I got to try this again. She moved from Detroit to California, so I didn't see her. I didn't know where to get them from. I was just like, damn, like, I need to try that shit again so I could see if it actually helped me or if I was just making it up. So I ended up moving to Atlanta, and I met this guy that had them. They gave me, shout out to Atlanta, because even though I be talking shit about Atlanta literally embraced me and showed me love just like Detroit did, but in a different way. When I first moved to Atlanta, when I tell you they came with a care package, I'm talking about an ounce of weed, an ounce of shrooms, and any pill you could think of. I didn't take them, of course, but this is the type of stuff like liquor, you know what I'm saying? Like known places to, I mean, I don't even know what I did to deserve all of that, but I was just like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Thank you. So in that package came some shrooms, because he was like, what you like? I was like, yeah, I want to try some shrooms and da-da-da-da-da-da. He's like, oh, yeah, well, I got that. I got a whole farm of shrooms. I was like, do you? It's like, bring them to me. I want them. So he brings them to me, and this was the biggest shroom that I ever seen in my life. It was about this big. At the time, it was the biggest I ever seen in my life. So I get the shroom, I break it in half, and he tells me to be careful because it was strong. I said, okay. So I go to get a scale because I didn't know what I was doing. And I was like, I need to make sure that I'm putting enough in my body or not too, you know what I'm saying? Or not too much, whatever. So I was used to a 3.5. But mind you, the shrooms in Detroit was nothing like the shrooms in Atlanta. So that 3.5, I couldn't even open my eyes. I was so high. So I took a 3.5, and again, my feet was not hurting. Like, my body felt good. Like, my bones, I was like I couldn't believe it. I was just like, wow. Like, usually I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? There's so much pain. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, my legs and my arms is moving and I'm feeling good. And I'm just like, wow, like, this is good. Like, I wasn't tripping. So whatever is in these magic mushrooms, I need to do some more research on it because I need to be able to do this all the time so I can at least live a manageable life. Life is so hard, if you guys don't notice, when you're in pain 24/7, 32/6. Because you still have to live. Like, you still have to get up and move around, regardless if you're in pain or not. You have to. So I wanted something to make it at least manageable. So from then on, I did all the research I can on different magic mushrooms. I tried different ones. You know, I started teaching people about it and walking people through shroom, you know, just, I'm the shroom queen. If you look behind me, I don't know if you guys can actually see the details of the new painting, but if you look on top of the portrait of me, there are different shrooms that she put up there, and one of the shrooms have a crown on it, which is really awesome. Shout out to Bree DeVille that made this whole mural for me. I love it. Shout out to everybody, all my couch potatoes that, you know, painted anything for me. I love it. I actually put one of my art work up there, that heart, which it was called Wasted Heart, but you know, anyways, so you know, I started doing the shrooms. It was making life better, and I never stopped from then. And I've been doing shrooms for almost, thank you so much. Thank you. I've been doing the shrooms for almost 7 years now. And when I tell you that it literally changed my life. And anybody that has an autoimmune disease, I always tell them, hey, I don't take any of my medication. All I take is mushrooms. That's it. And, you know, if I can advise anyone who is listening that has never tried a magic mushroom and you have an autoimmune disease, I would suggest getting a holistic doctor and talking to them about it, because it's definitely beneficial. I would really recommend that for anyone. Like, I don't recommend my actual, thank you so much. I don't recommend, oh, give me a second, I'll tell you. I don't recommend any of my, because I love acid. I'm not going to lie, you guys. I love acid. Acid, to me, is more intensified than the shrooms, and it made my body feel 1,000% better, quicker. But I wouldn't, you know, advise anybody to do that. I would advise you to do the shrooms. What happened to my neck is, as I was mentioning earlier, lupus, it'll make any of your piercings reject. And I started a company that is called the Dermal Savior. Under here are dermals. And at nighttime, I keep them covered so that they don't get irritated. And whenever you have on a t-shirt or something or anything that's going to rub against it, you always want to keep it covered. So that way it doesn't irritate your dermals, to keep them from rejecting as well. Like I said, especially if you have an autoimmune disease, you are more likely to have a rejected piercing, dermal, etc. So I do have a company called Dermal Savior. I sell Band-Aids, cleansing products, collagen, anything to heal your wounds and anything to keep your dermal from being rejected. Because a lot of times people don't want to get a dermal and then have to go back, get it pulled out just to wait 6-7 months just to get it put back in. So I actually do everything that I can to save it. They call me the dermal savior queen. So make sure that you check out my main page, which is THA Real JANELL on TikTok, and check my viral videos out. Like, you probably see my face. There's people that be hitting me up. They be like, man, I seen your face before. Yes, because I've saved your dermal through a video. So that's all that's wrong. My neck surgery was on this side, which it has healed up. You can't even see it anymore. I could see it because I know that I had a neck surgery. Random, but if you've had a neck surgery, then you are aligned with someone else. What I mean by that is you have somebody else's cadaver bone in there. So what they don't tell you about these surgeries is you have the person's dreams. We'll talk about that again in the middle of this month for menopause surgeries and more. I have some things coming up on a couch. January 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and 9th, which is all next week, is Prison Jail Felon Talk. If you've done any time, if you know anybody that's done any time, or if you've never done any time, if you've only been to jail, you're more than welcome to come share your story. We do Prison Jail Felon Talk every month on the couch. January 12th is Mental Health Talk. January 14th is Stop the Gun Violence. January 21st is going to be Sickle Cell Talk. January 26th is Swept Under. Swept Under is just disgusting the families that had to deal with sweeping under child molestation under the rug just to keep the family safe. That's what Swept Under is about. Also, January the 28th is going to be the next Shroom Talk. January 30th is Fuck Fentanyl. If any of these subjects resonate with you, you are more than welcome to come sit on the couch and let's talk about it. I definitely appreciate everybody for coming into the couch. Love y'all so, so much. Make sure that y'all follow Couch Chronicles No Limits on Spotify, Apple, Pandora, THA Couch on Facebook, TikTok, Bigo, like, tag, Twitch. I'm everywhere. Threads, Lemonade. And you can also follow my main account, which is THA Real JANELL, and that's also my YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe. I definitely appreciate you guys. You are now a couch potato. Make sure that you share this live. If you would like to be a guest, you're more than welcome. I do invite any of you, no matter what you're doing. And if you think that you don't have nothing to talk about, you'll see. All you got to do is let me ask my questions and you're going to have something to talk about. So I love you guys so much, and I appreciate y'all for being on the couch. Y'all know it's Friday, and I always like to tell you guys to be safe out there. I know we like to drink, but drinking and driving ain't it. If you feel as if you're out and you need a designated driver and you can't find one and you don't have enough for Uber, you can hit my hotline, 404-666-5906. Please do not drink and drive. I love you guys so much. It's the Couch Chronicles, where it ain't no fucking limits. Have a good day. Happy Friday. I love y'all. Love you. Love you. Love y'all.